And we're live. It's interesting. The last time I went live to discuss that guy's police brutality slash false arrest thing. Which, if you haven't seen that already, check out my channel. It's right there as the latest official video. Um, it said that I was like a certain amount out of an hour. And I like actually frantically looked to see whether or not my fucking channel had been disabled for live streams longer than an hour for some reason. Um, but turns out that wasn't the case, which is good. Either way, this is just going to be a short video. I mean, well, it could be very long if we get into some interesting discussions, if there's anything that comes up in the chat that you want discussed. But um, it's going to be a short video on what's to come, and generally how things have been going. And also, one of you, I'm going to wait until they show up, but one of you sent me this. It is cherry flavored mead, I think. So I will be enjoying that relatively soon as that person gets here. I'm not gonna drink the whole thing. I'm not gonna get hammered on stream. To be honest, like I don't ever think I'll do one of those drunk streams. Even if I'm doing like gaming or whatever, because I say dumb shit when I'm drunk, and I don't want to like cancel myself. But either way, to get to the subject, so multiple things. First off, I still have sponsor slots, so if you're interested, hit me up if you want your product in front of an angry conspiratorial audience. Feel free to hit me up on any of the social networks. And also, speaking of social networks, if you want to get in contact with me in a Discord-like situation, get on Keybase, because I do plan on getting an alt for Discord so that I can get back on there and join people's servers. But I don't plan on starting any servers there, because if they decided to, they could just ban me for ban evasion. And like at this point, basically, joining Discord, especially for anything serious, is a fool's errand. So I don't want to do that. But if you want to find me, Keybase is seemingly censor resistant, and they're very interested in getting people who want the ability to verify who people are and also be able to communicate, even send money. They've got a Stellar Lumen airdrop thing going right now. Either way, none of that really matters. What matters is if you want to get in contact with me and get into a place where you can get like updates whenever I do a stream, go to Keybase. Find me at Insanity is Free. You can find my verified account there, which, by the way, I like that method of verification. If other social medias did that sort of verification, they'd be a lot better in my eyes. I think the fact that you have to like not only meet their criteria for verification, but you also have to meet their criteria for being a good person, both of those mean that basically verification amounts to an attaboy. So I'm not a big fan of verification. It's people accuse me of being a globalist because I have the globe on my Twitter profile, but it's an old PewDiePie joke about getting globified instead of verified, because globification is where it's at. And I've had it since that joke came out, because I think verification on social media is mostly a matter of like approval seeking. But all that aside, I'm gonna start doing updates on Keybase, so feel free to hit me up over there. And yes, Bullshito. First off, I see the reason I'm not gonna get hammered on stream is because like I say dumb shit when I'm hammered in real life, and my friends know me, so they know that some of it, like, I'm just not phrasing whatever I'm saying right. I don't want to have anything attached to the permanent record that has me sloshed. So I'm never going to do one of those things, like, unless I change my mind, which is very unlikely. All that aside, he also says another advantage of Keybase is high Fed resistance. Yes, because everything they do is end-to-end encrypted. And you can like set your messages to self-destruct. Bullshito has a team on Keybase as well, which is their version of servers. and he's been using it for a while. He likes it a lot. I like it because like not only is the encryption nice because it means they can't see my messages to ban me, um, but it's like the whole idea of Keybase is to say things that are controversial. Like they have like the Hacker News link on your profile, and you can put your link to your Hacker News account on your profile. And I think that's very cool because it means that essentially they're here for the modern programmers. They're not here necessarily always for like legacy bullshit. And the legacy is definitely going by the wayside, in my opinion. So, all that aside, I'm going to check this update on Facebook because I think it's going to be funny. I've been in this argument with this dumb, like, concave brained, like, absolute mad boomer all morning. No, it's not related to that. Okay. Because I basically this guy's insulting and then getting mad when I insult back because he was wrong about what David Ballantyne of the Dank Pod Stash wanted. I don't know. It's dumb. Anyway, all that aside, what I wanted to get out there are multiple things. First off, that keybase thing. Second off, if you decide that you want to write for that thing I was talking about, I'm going to start it as soon as possible as a WordPress that generally anyone can contribute to. And I'm going to try and figure out a way to make that WordPress work to be monetizable. And then the inner sanctum of people who are willing to submit guaranteeably 15 pieces a month, that being one every 2 days like clockwork, and like high quality, like over 1,000 words, and with an image that's sized appropriately so that like I have to do as minimal work as possible, but facilitate a site where people are being civil while discussing things from their particular anarchist perspective. That's what I want. And I want people to have a place where they can be civil. And so what I plan to do is I plan to have a main site called on WordPress, like on the WordPress framework, where like I hope to have like hundreds of accounts all talking about things from an anarchist perspective. And then there'll be like a certain key group of people who can produce content that will be on both sites, on both that site and Narrative, which is where I'm going to be having the main publication. Narrative is like Steemit, only without the whales as much. It's a censor-resistant platform as well. It's on the blockchain. You get cryptocurrency rewards for posting content. And they have this thing now where they're doing publications. It's basically like their version of Pages. So that's the reason I was originally thinking of it, because this inner sanctum thing would be a way that people could guaranteeably make money. And I want this to be a way that, like, not only can they say what they want, but they can also, if they're really willing to put in the work, they can also potentially turn this into a job. And I want it to be inherently censor resistant. Like, I don't want people to be able to just shut us down like they did the Free Thought Project and, the Mind Unleashed, and just gut the staff because they can't afford to pay them. Because relying on Facebook, etc., isn't going to be the modus. The modus is going to be that there are just so fucking many people writing for the site that it gets constant eyes and traffic. That's my idea. I want people to be able to be civil to one another while they're writing on the site, and I also want them to be able to make some money off of it. And yes, there is like that financial incentive of making money for myself, but there's the primary incentive is to have like basically a holy ground where combat can't happen, where the people we're fighting is the state, because I've made the point so many times. If you hate the left or the right more than the state, you're not really an anarchist. If you'd be fine with a rightist state as long as it got those damn leftists off, well, fantastic. You're not an anarchist. If you want a leftist state as long as it gets those damn rightists off, then you're not an anarchist. And That's the general vibe. The general vibe is I want people to be able to have civil discussions. So, uh, Patriot Eek says people who post good content daily can easily make 100 plus or more USD a month from narrative rewards, and that's now with the Nerve token not being worth much. It has a lot of potential. Yeah, and that's like when you get involved in these sorts of things in the beginning, a lot of the time the things aren't worth much, especially since the Nerve token is just that. It's a token. It's not a cryptocurrency. It can be converted into Neo, though, which is a cryptocurrency, but it's a less known cryptocurrency. It's not even on Koinomi. Actually, I should get the Koinomi people tagged in and see what it would take to get Neo listed on Koinomi, because if I could have my Neo wallet on Koinomi and not have to have a separate app for my Neo, like O3, which is what I have now, I think that's what it's called, that would be very handy. Patriot says, couldn't agree more. Left and right haters more than Gov. We need to focus on the black, especially now. And speaking of, I'm going to test this because it finally came in the mail today. If I can get the cap open, it sort of burst a little in transit, but I'm assuming that it shouldn't be too hard to get the cap off, because if any of it leaked, it's probably, relatively easy to remove. So cheers to all of you. Here's to a great winter. That is smooth. I like that. I want to say it sort of reminds me of this cherry moonshine I had, but like milder. Mildly milder. It's like a beery moonshine, if that makes sense. I'm gonna sip this. And it's also actually, so this is the first booze I've had since I've been here in Spokane. And one of the reasons is I don't want to buy booze until I can afford like a baseline thing. I don't want to be an alcoholic in a gutter. I want to be a productive person who makes content for all of you. And so not only did I not want to buy it because I don't want to turn into that guy who wastes all his money on booze. Especially when I can waste all my money on pre-workout supplements and do my workout, which I'll be doing after this, which is another reason I can't get drunk. But it's there's an extra tax on booze here in Washington, apparently. Like, okay, so here's a little story time for you. In California, where I come from, they have a certain amount of booze available on the shelves in the open, in Walmart and in regular stores and whatever. And but the really high proof stuff has to be locked in a fucking cabinet, and you have to go and talk to the fucking store clerk and get them to unlock the cabinet, where they will then take your bottle of booze up to the fucking aisle, where you have to go to that specific aisle to check out and pick up your booze. It's like they treat you like a kid. But here, it's sort of similar in the way that you can't buy booze at the normal store area. There's like an alcove in the Walmarts here in Spokane where you buy your booze. And when I looked at this alcove, because I was like, there's a fucking booze alcove. It's basically just like a wall of booze store. It's very, very strange. And it's right in the front of the store. Like, they really want people to like buy it on their way out, or maybe on like going directly in there for their booze. So like when I was looking at this, because it was right next to the money thing, and I used PayPal to pay rent. I saw this sign and it said that there's an extra booze tax. There's an extra fucking booze tax in Washington. Washington, named after one of the founders of a country that like was founded on tax rebellion. and then immediately turned their back on that with the Whiskey Rebellion, which was quelled. It's it's really laughable. I thought it was ironic and funny. I wasn't planning on talking about that today, but the subject is available. Um, LOL, be careful. It's about 19% alcohol. You know, I'm being relatively careful because I can taste the amount that's in there, and I'm also like my food digests quickly, and it's pretty much all breakfast is pretty much already gone. So I think this last drink is the last I'm gonna have of it for today. But thank you to the mystery person who sent this, because a German without booze, it's like a marionette without strings. Either way, fucking, you can easily brew your own mead. Let me know if you start, then you could better barter with it, perhaps for your living expenses. Maybe. I honestly never really thought about that, but that's a possibility because it's supposed to be like not hard at all. A Bullshito says, we have a slightly similar situation here in the Netherlands. Can't buy booze above a certain alcohol content in the regular store. Man, the government never changes, no matter where you are in the fucking world. I've heard that mead lasts forever on a shelf, whether you open it or not. That would not surprise me. It's supposed to be like, cause it's based on honey, right? So it's supposed to be like just as stable as honey is, but in like a separate environment. Either way, so that's the general idea. If you want in on writing from an anarchist perspective, I've already got a couple people interested in editing, and basically you would get a cut of ad revenue, and you would also get the amount of nerve rewards that you earned from posting through the publication. And basically, I would be facilitating eyes on your content. And I've already got a general, like, I've got the URL already. All I would need to do is buy basic hosting for the URL, and I'd be golden, and I could get that going. But all that aside, I also have a series I'm starting off. I accidentally called it Better Than BuzzFeed last time I was talking about shit, but it's Better Than Snopes, and I'm going to be debunking shit. I've already debunked 2 things, and it's extremely easy to do with some of these things, but even if it's hard, send me whatever you think needs debunking, whatever you think is being used unnecessarily to, like, weaponize against one side or another that's like a lie or whatever. Send me things that you think are probably bullshit, and I'll see if they are or not. Because I'm gonna start using my site a shit ton, and I can crank out a quick take like that, like this is bullshit, in no time. And like I saw this thing, and nobody fucking replied for a week, where this dumb fuck with a bad rap career was trying to claim that Democrats had a click farm where they had a bunch of hanging phones, and they would be like there to like and retweet Democrat talking points. And I already saw this click farm like a long time ago, and it wasn't a Democrat thing, it was product reviews. And it, like, on Amazon and many other sellers' sites. That's what this thing was for. So when I saw this, I already knew what it was because I had seen this particular click farm before, and I knew that that was bullshit already. So I found the video and I posted it, and this fucking bitch ass, the only thing he responded to a week later, and only because people were liking and retweeting it all of a sudden, was "stay woke." And he quote tweeted a thing where he's like, "Oh, well, I'm right anyway, because if they're boosting Amazon product reviews and Jeff Bezos owns the Washington Post, then they're helping Democrat talking points," which bullshit. Fuck you, and I hope everything you're working on you lose. And this guy's super lazy. What he does is he goes off of the same like neutral rap beat, and he like reposts bullshit about QAnon, and he thinks he's a rapper. And this lie he posted, this outright lie, this baseless, sourceless claim he made, got like over 2.5 thousand retweets and likes at the time when I fucking proved his ass wrong. And and that was more traffic and traction than he had gotten for most of his other posts combined. So this bitch ass needed to lie to be successful because his music wasn't good enough on its own. It's fucking trash. He's trash. And I would have no problem taking out every single person like him, including the people who I took down in my other debunk, which was calling this guy a pedophile when he was a marijuana farmer, and putting his face next to the word pedophile in like tens of thousands of different iterations. It's pathetic. It's smear, it's lies, and I hope to take down as many of these fucking scumbags as possible. That's my particular goal. So if you have anything you think you want me to take down, feel free to let me know, and I'll see if I can write up a piece on that. Bullshito says, what happens is that there's a differently named store in the same building as well that sells booze. Yeah, I mean, it's sort of like that here. Like there's a full on fucking liquor store in the front with like sours and everything. It's kind of nuts. It's like the corner store and Walmart in one. Like you can go there to get your nails done. I think they have a nail salon. I don't remember specifically. You can go get a Subway sandwich. You can get your money order done. You can order groceries, and then you can visit the corner the corner liquor store in this fucking Walmart. It's very strange. But yeah, so all that is there, and I wanted to get that out before anything else. And the other thing that I wanted to update people on is that I'm interviewing the author of one of the books for one of my sponsors, which is Liberty Under Attack Publications. And that author is the author of a book called Brushfire. And I'm about a fifth of the way through it at this point. I should be done by Monday when I'm going to be interviewing this guy. But basically this book is a fiction about a guy who's at odds with the wrong group of bureaucrats. And that's pretty much all I'm going to say about it at this particular point, other than I sympathize with the main character who tries to live within his own means and doesn't get loans or anything. And, because for those of you who are like longtime listeners of my bullshit, you know that one of the reasons I'm in Washington to begin with is because even though I had the money and the wherewithal and the regular income to afford a place in California, I'm a straight white dude. I'm not in the military. I do odd jobs, and I've never taken a loan. So all of those combine to create a guy who's already very hard to rent to. And then add to that all the stuff I say online. Basically, when I did get an interview, which was rare for a place to, rent with the money I had, I would immediately be turned away because they would ask, what's my social media? And I would have to give it to them. Because I was going to record my content. I was going to do my show there. And if they were going to ask for my social media, they were going to want to know the real me, and they would find out the real me, and I would rather them not think I was a liar right off the bat by creating some fake account. But like, I sympathize with the main character here, because one of the things he goes through is somewhat hardships based on the fact that he tries to live outside the system that's been prescribed for him. So it'll be interesting to talk to the author, get some perspectives, and it'll also be interesting to put a human face behind one of the sponsors that I have. And I also want to interview Shane Radliff. I think we're in talks about that, if I remember correctly, about the publishing process and what goes into like being a person behind that sort of thing. So keep a lookout for that. There's also going to be content, I'm hoping later today, but there's going to be content very certainly tomorrow, the next day, Sunday, and Monday. And I want to try and get this clip up. I want to keep this pressure. I want to get content out pretty much on a daily basis, if not multiple times a day. And I want to start earning the amount of support that I've gotten because, to be completely frank, I don't think I've earned it. I think my content is not what it should be, and I also think that it's not what I want it to be. And I think that the amount of support I've gotten already is kind of too much for what I've given. But I'm also an asshole to a lot of people and myself principally. So, I don't know. I'm probably just looking at it through a bad lens, and I'm a cynic about everything. So I'm going to be a cynic about this too. Either way, the point is that there's going to be a lot of stuff coming. And if you're interested in keeping up on all of it and always getting updates, hit me up on Keybase at Insanity is Free. I'm starting up a team, which is, again, their term for servers, where I'll be able to send out updates as to when things are happening, what's coming out, and all that. Like a Discord server, only not run by a bunch of censorious assholes who decide that, hey, we're going to lie about people to ban them instead of just, having policies against X, Y, and Z. They should just have a rule, no pedo hunting on Discord. Well, leave our pedos alone. Anyway, all that fucking bullshit aside, there's a lot coming. A lot. And I missed last Pedos in Power. That won't happen again. And the reason I missed it is because there was just a bunch of stuff that I had to take care of over the weekend. And also, on one of the days, I missed the fucking, I got on the wrong bus here. Because I thought it said fucking whatever. Then I got on the wrong fucking bus, and I had to spend the rest of the evening finding my way back home, which was kind of stupid because, I knew I should have paid more attention, and it was my fault. And I'm not saying it's out of my hands, but either way, I just wanted to get all this information out there. I wanted to make all that clear. And I wanted to, answer questions, whatever you have in the chat, and take feedback, whatever you have, because I want this to be a very interactive experience. I also plan on doing game streams, because I haven't been doing those. And I've got a shit ton of video games, and a lot of people would probably rather see me playing a video game than hear me shooting the shit about a bunch of other stuff. But all that brings me to my next point. Shit shooting Sundays. I want to bring it back. What that was is a thing where I get a shit ton of people together on the same call to talk about various things. And I want to get that back up and going. And basically, it was just a massive free-for-all discussion where I would do limited moderation to make sure people could get their full thing out there. But, the rest of it was just, a general talk. And I want to get that back up and going because it was very effective at getting some ideas hashed out and getting some people with some alternative perspectives out there. So I want to start doing that again. If there's any topics you want to see a bunch of people discuss at once, feel free to let me know on any of my social networks. Because I want to get that back up and going. I still get the reminders on my fucking phone, too. That it's happening at a given time. I get my shit shooting Sunday reminder. And I have to always hit dismiss with, that level of embarrassment in the back of my head. I fucking still haven't brought this back, even though it was one of my most successful ventures. But that's going to change relatively soon. Yeah, and I would have you, Bullshido. The general idea is you have to have some level of knowledge in the subject. It's a matter of so if for instance we wanted to talk MMA or boxing, I'm sure I could get some excellent takes from you. And if we were going to talk, architecture, prepping, and Mead preparation, I could get Finian on. There are many possible things, but the general idea is that we get on a bunch of people who are good at talking about something on to discuss that thing, and it used to go very well. So I'll say that. Also, if you know anybody who would like to subscribe to an asshole like me, feel free to let them know, because ultimately, that's what I rely on. Ultimately, these sorts of things would not be possible without people sharing this content, without people spreading the word. Um, and that's the most important thing, because I could say this same stuff over and over to the same group of people and it wouldn't change much. But if you all decided you wanted me to succeed, I would succeed. I got a donation yesterday from Shane Hawk for $10, and if 1% of my audience did that, I would be able to like shoo away a significant chunk of my present problems. You know, but like nobody's gonna do that if they don't know my content exists. I saw a video from a YouTuber who has some good takes on some on various topics. Bad Empanada on Knowing Better's Columbus video. I guess he had been bombarded with that video as well. So you know, I commented. I said I made a similar video on Knowing Better's video about a week before you did. And you know, this was after liking his video, and like almost nobody came from that channel to this one because of that. Even though I made a video that made a lot of the same points he did. So this content won't succeed if it's not spread, is my point. If you want to help me, the best way to help me is to spread my content. Because without that, without you guys, I have absolutely no footing. So feel free to tag people when I post something you like, something you agree with, something that taught you something. And I'll try to pump out enough content that it makes your share worth it. Because, you know, like I said, I don't think I've been that worth it lately. But there are some people who disagree. I'm still on the up in terms of subscriber, well, that way anyway, from that perspective, in terms of subscriber growth. And you know, I'd like to say in a few months that I have an amazing amount of subscribers and we're gonna take on 2020 with a fervor and fire and fury and whatever. But like that won't happen without shares. So that's my my sort of declaration. If you want to help, share. That's the best way to help. And with all that being said, if there's nothing else that that somebody wants to talk about, let me see. Bullshito says, sounds good. I'm thinking the direction of some internet privacy stuff as well as anything martial arts. Yeah, internet privacy would be a great discussion. Plus, I could flash that I'm, you know, I've got a ref link for ExpressVPN, which is the VPN that didn't get hacked. If you see people sharing a NordVPN link, please tell them to like look into the recent hack. Tell them that there are reasons to not support Nord right now, that maybe in the future when they, you know, get their shit back under wraps, it might be better. But Nord is not the best VPN. I'll put it that way. And I already didn't like them as well because of where they're located and their speeds. So I was already gonna promote Express over Nord. But the general idea should be like look into the products that you promote to other people. And a lot of these people just promoted the products because they paid money. Like, you know, how many of these YouTubers do you think actually play Raid Shadow Legends? I barely think any of them do. I certainly wouldn't, because it's another shovelware fucking mobile game. I don't know why anybody, like, the closest I get to the mobile gaming mindset is Sonic Force's Speed Battle. If they ever do a fucking thing where they're like suggesting, where they're getting YouTubers on board, Sega follows me on Twitter. Feel free to hit me up. I will be fucking your guy for Sonic Force's Speed Battle. But like Raid Shadow Legends just seems like an excuse to not play a real RPG. I don't know. Anyway, all that ranting and raving aside, Patriot Eek says, I use Proton VPN. So Proton is fine, but it's limited in capability and doesn't like install on as many devices, and it's not as fast. So it's good if you want something free, but if you want something like more comprehensive, there's a reason you pay for things like Express. And it's not that much. I think it's like $3.33 a month if you buy a year. So, well, what's the difference? Okay, so he says he has the paid version. What's the difference between the paid version and the free version? I'll have to get that information from you. But all that being said, these streams are brought to you by Liberty Under Attack Publications and Liberty Professionals. Looking for a Liberty-focused publisher, Liberty Under Attack Publications assists authors through the entire publishing process, proofreading, editing, cover designs, paperback and Kindle formatting, and full audiobook narration and post-production. Tell them Jeremiah sent you and take 20% off a full-service deal. They also publish books and strategy guides for individuals looking to increase their personal freedom, great anarchist fiction like Agora, and guides like Shane Radliff's Vanu, A Strategy for Self-Liberation. To publish your next book or find your next read, please visit libertyunderattack.com. Share your story. Find your freedom. It's also brought to you by Liberty Professionals. Liberty Professionals will help you secure your home, small business, and life. It's run by a residential security expert who is an ASIS board-certified physical security professional. And if you need work done in the Virginia area, they do missing persons investigations, skip tracing, and more. Contact them for more info. Finian has all the necessary tools in his toolbox to bring you peace of mind and stability for the future. Support Liberty businesses and these streams by heading over to libertyprofessionals.com to get your console today. And if you decide you want to sponsor these streams and help keep not only a roof over my head, but this content churning out, feel free to hit me up. I've got 2 slots available. Free limits the choices of where you connect. Paid has tons of choices. Yeah, well, but like that's the same with all VPNs. I'm wondering if the value is commensurate with the amount that you're paying, compared to something like ExpressVPN. Especially like, I don't know. We'll have to talk about that at some point a little bit later. Maybe we'll have like a internet privacy stream like Bullshito was recommending, and we'll have that discussion then. Bullshito says it's exclusively created for YouTubers to chill on their channel about Raid Shadow Legends. Yeah, exactly. Like I don't understand how all these non-gamers were suddenly on board with a video game, and how so many other people are like playing this game when there are so many other games available. If they're not just lying for YouTube skrill. Like, I think most of them probably don't fucking play Raid Shadow Legends, and if they do, it's like they play it to the requisite amount of hours to get their sponsorship, and then they drop it forever. So, like, you're playing with a bunch of people who don't really want to play it because the guy that they wanted to support played it, and the more downloads they get, the more support they have. I think it's one of those games that's going to be like gone eventually. And if people aren't still talking about it when they're geriatric, it won't succeed at all, especially since like graphics and whatever improve over time. And like, the game's market just won't be able to tolerate that game for much longer. I don't know. It's all fucking bullshit in my eyes. If I'm going to spend money on a game, or if I'm going to spend time on a game, right now the one game that I think I would buy is Deus Ex Mankind Divided, because I can get to the fucking full-on like deluxe edition for about $9 on fanatical.com. So, I mean, that, and also because I can generate links through my link affiliation thing for that game. So I could even send people a link to Deus Ex Mankind Divided and make money fucking off of that. I don't know. There are just so many better ways to make money without sucking strange. Okay. Well, with all that being said, thank you for the 3 people who liked it and for the about 6 people who showed up for any amount of time. You can find me everywhere at Insanity is Free, including on Twitch, where I'm gonna be streaming relatively regularly, gaming content because I've been promising for fucking ever and just not gotten around to it. Whatever. But if you want to find me on Keybase for an uncensored version of Discord, feel free to hit me up at Insanity is Free, because, I'm probably not going to be back on Discord for anything very serious, anything that I would devote a significant chunk of time to, because I don't want to be censored again. I don't want them to, lie my way into a thing or say that I'm banned again for, being banned before. Which isn't a ban evasion ban, just like sort of arrested for resisting arrest? I don't know. Like, I understand it for things like Giovanni Leiftis Morgan, who's still on Twitter with his like 6th or 7th account at this point, but to do it for everybody else just seems like a way to censor and keep somebody down. Either way, all that aside, be well, smash the state, lots more in the future.